Good day, everyone. I am Ildefonso Binime Jr., and I am going to report about the Western and Eastern influence on Filipino values and good manners and right conduct. So, in this module focuses on the Western and Eastern influences on Filipino values and good manners and right conduct, or the GMRC. It has three parts. So, it begins with the discussion on the contributory factors to Filipino culture, highlighting on different foreign influence that contributed in the shaping of the Filipino culture. So the second part deals with the belief and the value system of the Filipinos with emphasis on the description of different Filipino values. The end part contains the list of positive and negative Filipino values identified by Corpus et al. 2019. So, I am going to report about the contributory factors to Filipino culture, highlighting on different foreign influence that contributed in the shaping of Filipino culture. Abstraction. Um, the Filipino culture is a summation of indigenous forces and foreign influences that had come to bear upon the people in varying degrees during the last centuries. So these foreign influences that contributed in the shaping of a Filipino culture. So let us take a look at the contributory factors to Filipino culture and the foreign influences on our Filipino values. First, we have the Malays. So the Malays, the basic component of Filipino culture is the Malay temperament, which could be best described by niceness and pleasantness to others, rather than by virtue of law-abiding features. So, in its fluidness of culture, in the Malay family, clan, or unit, is the world's best security system. Next is Chinese. Filial piety between parents and children, the flexibility to go along with other people, and the sageliness within and kingliness without of the Filipino is believed to be due to Chinese influence. Next is the Indian influence. The Indian influence is found in the languages, mode of dressing, architectural art, folk, folk beliefs, brass and copper ware. Next is the Hindu influence. So Hindu influence is the most pervasive in the Filipino belief system. For instance, is the prediction of Filipino newspaper readers for horoscope and fortune-telling sections. Next is the Spanish heritage. So Spanish heritage is the reflective of more sorry that is of more developed societies at their point of contact, broadened and broadened the outlook of the Filipino. So Spain introduced a community-oriented rather than a family-oriented religion in the form of Christianity. So it contributed to an elite class, so a social and political organization, according to Western institutions, was brought to the Philippines by the Spanish. Next are the Americans. The United States further broadened this heritage by introducing a democracy that called for individual liberty and equality, as well as a national political community to which everybody was supposed to participate through national suffrage. So below the is a detailed description of the Latin and Asian influence on Filipinos. So here are the Latin influence on Filipinos. So first is the big gatherings and fiestas. So the Filipino character has been described as a mix of Hispanic and Asian cultures. So many say Filipinos have more in common with Latin Americans than they do with Asians. So why is that? Life in the Philippines often has a slow pace, just like the Latin Americans. So big gatherings and fiestas are common. Next is the mañana attitude, mañana habit, or the mañana is there is a mañana attitude about time. So being punctual is called American time. So mañana habit, we oftentimes say unya na. No, that's the of mañana habit. So next is the machismo culture. So machismo culture is prevalent on television, in the workplace, and in everyday life. So one Filipino woman told Newsweek that our culture teaches that men are to be strong. So the roots of the macho lie both in Spanish colonial and traditional familial hierarchical hierarchical structures. So Latin America is often described as violent, passionate, and intense. Crime rates and often murder rates are high. So machismo culture is kuan um, um, it teaches uh, us that men are strong. So normally in the Philippines or in any other Latin American countries, you cannot see a man nga maghilak sa public. So um, makita nimo sila nga isog or happy lang, no? You cannot normally see a man that is crying on public. So that is a very kuan kining dako kay nagtapyas sa ilang pride. Next is large number of people party all night. No, so many non-Latin Americans consider Latin Americans to be noisy and affectionate. Just no, so makita na to ang non-Latin Americans sa paglantaw sa Latin Americans sa atong mga marites na silingan, no. Kani sila kay kuan sabaan, palahubog, kada gabi menisko, no. Inana, no. So Madonna described Latin culture as very embracing, warm, and passionate. The same could be said about Filipinos. So that is about the hospitality and generosity. Next, no, hospitality and generosity. So Latin Americans are very hospitable and generous, and it often seems that the poorer people are more willing to give. No, we can kaning makita nato ni sa mga sa Pinoy as well, no. So guests are honored with special dishes and treats. So honor is important and defended vigorously, sometimes even physically. You know, especially during fiestas, no? Fiestas, birthday, or any other occasions, dapat ang bisita ay nag-uli na ay madala nga pagkaon, or anything ilang madala, no? So personal criticism is taken very seriously, and and should be avoided because individuals are considered far more important than schedules. Punctuality at meetings may be admired but not strictly observed. No, so kasagara sa Pinoy lagi kay permi late. No, why is that? No, ganing grab mailhan nimo ang Pinoy kung late sa mga meetings and events. No, they never come on time. Pinoy mo naging natuog Pinoy time, Filipino time. So, a casual stopover can sometimes turn into a visit that lasts a few days or a week. So these guests often disappear, however, if work needs to be done. Children like house guests because they spoil the children and give them lots of attention. Especially ang mabisita si Ninong, Ninang, Pasko, Fiesta. No? So ang mabulahan ang bata kay permina na ihatag. No, so these ideas and values also exists in the Philippines. Of course, pakita na to. Very common. So next is the cleanliness. So cleanliness is a virtue despite how dirty things seem on the street level. So much time is spent making sure that the house is tidy and clean. So floors are mopped on daily basis and walls are scrubbed weekly. The condition of a house is a reflection on the family and especially the mother. Yes, um, no, makita kung siyempre kung makita na to kanang balaya hugaw, so kanang gapuyo dira hugawan sad. That is our perception, jud. Basta hugaw ang panimalay. So the streets are beat up and full of trash, but homes are clean. People keep their homes clean, but often litter in public. Limpyado sa balay, pero hugawan sa gawas. Pataka lang labi sa basura sa gawas, pero limpyado sa balay. Next is the difficulty distinguishing between reality and myth. So Latin Americans sometimes seem to have difficulty distinguishing between reality and myth. Pinoy sad, samot na marites. Yes, because people believe in miracles and the power of divine intervention. Charismatic leaders and sports heroes are worshipped as God and their faults are glossed over. So it is no surprise that the literary movement of magical realism championed Colombian writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez sprung up in Latin America. So these ideas are very much alive in the Philippines. So hilig jud ta ng mga himala, the power of divine intervention, mga quack doctors, no, hilig ta og kanang patambal sa manambalay mga instead of going to the hospital or seeing a doctor kay gawas na cheap, no, kani makaingon ta na moingon nga doctors are not efficient, uh, mas mas effective sa dito manambalay and mas cheap. So they often kuan bili and they often kanang dito sila sa manambalay madto instead sa doctors. Okay, so that's all for the Latin American influence on Filipino culture. So next is the Asian influence on Filipinos. Okay, so first, okay. Okay. First is the appreciation of beauty. So, National Geographic photographer Kasmowski said Filipinos are more expressive and emotional than other Asians, yet they still have a polite Eastern restraint and civility about them, and a strong aesthetic sense and appreciation of beauty, particularly beautiful women. Mhm. Next is okay. That um, being emotional and appreciation of beauty. So next is the pakikisama. Um, okay, so being emotional. So people are surprised by overt expressions of emotion and don't like when people raise their voice. So we, especially siguro sa, ay tanan man tang, no, basin man gani ako. I don't like and people na who raise their voice at me because atong perception is suko sila no bisag kabalo na ta nga nato sila mastorya no. But Filipinos are sensitive, I guess. Okay, sensitive man ko. Okay, so next is the pakikisama. So an emphasis is placed on skills to smooth interpersonal relations and minimize interpersonal conflicts. So when a difference of opinion arises, an effort is made to settle the matter with euphemisms and go-betweens rather than open criticism. So pakikisama is the art of smooth interpersonal relations. So it is the pakikisama of utmost import is kaning kuan. Pakikisama is of utmost importance to Filipinos. Social control is exerted through customs similar to that found elsewhere in Southeast Asia. Next is maintaining your face. So face is very important in the Philippines as it is elsewhere in Asia, where it has been said that face is more important than truth or justice. So, and losing face is often an individual's grateful fear. So face is essentially respect in a community and is a crucial underpinning of society. Loss of that respect threatens the relations of individuals with almost everyone in his or her world and is hard to get back once lost and thus is avoided at all cost. So face is equated with honor and losing face is equivalent with shame, disrespect, and humiliation. So I saw this meme on Facebook na kung gwapo ang kung gwapo ang motutok, kilig. Pero kung batignaw ang motutok, rapist. No, so if you have this batignawong on kung naka sa Pinas na batignawong, so you will be automatically automatically disrespected and humiliated. So maintaining dignity and avoiding embarrassment is at the heart of maintaining face. So some people describe the West as a guilt-based society where people's behavior is um, dictated by their personal hang-ups. Okay, so next is shame-based societies. So Asian societies, on the other hand, are often described as shame-based societies, in which behavior is often defined by fear of losing face. So it is considered very bad taste to criticize a person in public since it results in a loss of face within the community. So necessary criticisms and suggestions should be made in a way that no one is blamed and shame is not cast upon any individual. Next is the way that we Filipinos decline requests and invites. So Filipinos and Southeast Asians consider it rude to say no directly. They often say something like maybe or I am busy or even say yes when they really mean no or convey a no answer in a way that foreigners don't understand. Also, if we Filipinos, if we are being invited by someone or someone nga di taganahan or some events nga di taganahan mo adto, no, we have this so many palusot, no, bisag dili busy mangyunta og busy, no, sama sa giingon ni Joven nga mangihi ra ko pero niuli na di ay, no. So we always kani mangita tag pamaagi to decline invites politely. So nabay kanang dili ta masakpan ba nga namutbot or da kaning unsa ni kanang makalusot ta na bisag dili jud ta busy di lang jud tagahan maadto, no. And we Filipinos makabalo na jud ta nga kaning tawhanan nagpalusot di jud ni maadto basta kanang certain something iyang istorya kabalo na ka no nga di jud to maadto tungod lang ato, no. So this behavior sometimes causes confusion with Westerners who like a yes or no answer and who tend to believe there is a possibility of a yes unless they are told no straight out. So makita din nato that Westerners are uto-uto. Dili ra magtotoo. So, kanang dili maybe they're honest persons. Okay. Unless you said no, magsabot yun na sila nga di ka maadto. But kita mga Pinoy kay maybe some Asians mahilig man ta og pasikot-sikot bisag dili mo adto may jud adto ra ko apas ra ko di jud ta mangadto. Yes, and those things, so those values are that is actually Asian influence on Filipinos. Nakalimot lang ko edit. So those are the Latin influence on Filipinos in terms of values and good manners and right conduct. So the next reporter will be Aljan Plaza. That would be all about sa akong report. Thank you all for listening and bye-bye.